Greetings. My name is Jason Whalen. This is the Guitar Knack. And today I was thinking that we would start with something that's kind of basic, but surprisingly a lot of people don't know. So in the course of over 30 years of giving guitar lessons, I've had many occasions of having people that have been playing for quite some time. And it is actually surprising how many people just don't seem to know where all of the notes are. They might have some reference points, but they kind of don't know where they all are. So in this video, I'm going to assume that you know the names of the open strings, the A, D, G, B, E. I've got an extra B on my 7th string. And I'm also going to assume that you may already know the notes on your lowest string. If it's the E, it's the E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. And hopefully even the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And hopefully with the combination of those two, we're going to talk about a strategy for kind of learning the layout of how the guitar has its notes. So we're going to start with an A. Just going to do an A, and that's all I'm going to do today. And what we're going to do is talk about a pattern that shows up on the guitar that is just as obvious as a piano pattern. You know, like if you sit a 2-year-old in front of a piano, or maybe not a 2-year-old, but probably a 4-year-old in front of a piano, show them where an A is, and just because of the pattern of the white and black keys, they can probably figure out where all of the A's are. Guitar has a pattern just like that. It's just not necessarily as obvious, at least not from looking at it from afar. So the pattern ultimately is going to, well, the first pattern is going to kind of look like this. We're going to play an A and an A and an A. It's 3 octaves of A's, and that's my first diagonal. I kind of think of this as a whole cross diagonal sort of scenario. So to show you how I did that, we're going to basically play on the 5th fret of the 6th string, of your 6th string, your E string. That note is an A, obviously. We're going to skip over a string and over a fret. So we're going to hop over a string and then go up essentially a whole step distance, or so it would look. And so we're going to have an A here, and then we're going to have an A an octave higher. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hop over another string, and we're going to hop over actually 2 frets this time because, well, the guitar is kind of an A-hole between the B and the G strings. So what's going to happen is all of our patterns are going to have to elongate a little bit going this way. And that's going to give us our first group of 3 A's, essentially. 3 octaves of A. And that pattern is actually just, at this point, if you've got 6 strings, you've got half of your strings covered, at least in this area. Hopefully you also know that any given note, there's only 2 locations of it on any given string. Unless it's an open string, then if you have 24 frets, you might be lucky enough to have a 3rd one. But in the case of these A's, A, that's pretty much 3 of them there before that pattern's going to repeat an octave higher. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But essentially, if you're on your first dot after the nut, you're going to go to the first dot after the 12th fret, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So you're going to essentially play an A, skip over a string and skip a fret, skip over a string and skip 2 frets. We've got the last one there. Okay, so open strings kind of complicate the thing in a little bit. Maybe it doesn't really complicate it, but it kind of complicates it as far as our understanding of it does. It's an exception. So what happens is if I go to the 12th fret of the A string, which is an octave of the open A, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm on my 5th string this time, and I'm going to go right there on 12. I'm going to play 14, which is skipping over a string, skipping a fret, and then I'm going to skip over a string and 2 frets, and I'm up here on the 17th fret. That thing's going to repeat down here, but we've got an open string, and then 2nd fret, and then we've got the 5th fret. So an exercise to do with this, a really good exercise for this, is to essentially start with your open string, or start with the lowest rendition of whatever note it is that you've got. And we're going to essentially play A, A, A. If you've got one on your first string, you've got one on your sixth string. We're going to go A, A, A. You're going to hop up to the 12th fret. And then we're going to go to, we've got one on the first string, we've got one on the sixth string. And if you've got 24th fret, we've got another A right there. So we're essentially just going to go from nut to first pickup, essentially. Playing the same note in different octaves and sometimes in unisons. I'm going to talk about a thing with that. You can kind of understand what's going on there. But this whole thing is movable. It's like a big slide ruler. So what happens is if I've got A, and A here, I've got B, B, and B there, and I've got C, C, and C there, and I've got G, G, and G there, and I've got F, F, and F there. So once you kind of get a handle of this, it's sort of easy to take what you might already know on those lower two strings and you know, find things up higher on the neck, like, hey, there's an A there and there's an A there, and kind of know where they are without having to think about it too much. So that's the first way. The other way that we're going to do this, the other strategy that we're going to use, is we're going to take one note, one location of the note, and this time, instead of finding it in octaves skipping strings, we're going to find two notes on the next adjacent string higher, and then we're going to find two notes on the next adjacent string lower. So I'm going to start with the 12th fret of the A string, which gives us an A. And what we're going to do is we're going to count that fret as 1, and we're going to count 6 down towards the nut. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we've got a unison of that A, the same A on paper. Okay, starting from the same location, if we were to count 8 forward towards the pickups, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this time we've got an octave. That same rule applies going to the string down below, but it's going to be opposite. So what's going to happen is, if we have the 12th fret again, if I go 8 frets back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then go a string down, I've got a lower octave. If I do the 12th fret again, same location, this time if I go 6 forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I've got the same note unison. This is going to work everywhere. It doesn't matter what note you have. If you've got an A right here on your first string on the 17th fret, same deal is going to apply. I can't go to a higher one, but I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down and down a string, or I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 higher and have a unison note. The only place where this is going to get a little funky is if we're going across the what some people call the warp refraction, which is where, again, the guitar is kind of an A-hole between the G and the B string. So if I'm, let's say here at this A on the 10th fret of my 10th fret of my second string, I can count, this time I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down. Or I would have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to also, if I'm there, it's going to apply on that one. It's going to go 5 back and 9 forward. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've got that guy right there. So between these two ways of doing it, it creates this, like, I think I may have mentioned before, it's kind of like a cross diagonal sort of thing. I've got these notes here, but from any given note, I've got other ones that I can find, and then that same thing applies from before, where I've got that same diagonal octave thing. So between the combination of those two things, should be pretty easy for you to start seeing how everything's laid out and finding notes. And then keep in mind also, if you know where an A is, you know where a B and C is. And if you know where an A is, and an A, B, C. So the guitar becomes a much friendlier place to live in as far as the fretboard is concerned. So give it a try.